Good morning. It is Sunday. I hope you have been having a wonderful weekend. I wasn't planning on filming anything on Saturday just to kind of give the screen a break or give my eyes a break from the screen. But then I had to crochet this basket because I had borrowed a wicker basket from the end of our bed that held a bunch of the kids' books. And then I needed a spot to put my yarn advent calendar, and it's the first year I've had one, so I didn't really think ahead about how I wanted to keep everything organized. So I dumped out the books and just put them in a neat pile, and then used that basket. But of course, a pile of kids' books is not going to stay neat, hence the need for the basket in the first place. So that quickly escalated out of control. And then I needed a new thing to hold the books. So then instead of having a new thing to hold the books, I figured I would put the books back in the wicker basket and then come up with a new idea for the yarn advent calendar. So I had this jumbo yarn that has since been discontinued. I can't remember what the blend is, but it's a really beautiful colors. And the ball band I think says super bulky, but it's technically I think a jumbo. I used a 12 millimeter crochet hook and I just kind of made up the pattern as I went, and I made a basket. And it's perfect for the yarn advent calendars. It's yarny, so it kind of fits the theme, and it's cozy. And then when the yarn advent calendar stuff is over, I can still use it for other things, toys, yarn, whatever. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. So I have inserted footage of that in here, and yeah, just kind of taking it easy this weekend, not going anywhere as usual. It is really cloudy today, so I feel like this morning when the sun rose, it just kind of slowly got a little lighter, but the sun never came out, so it's still very cloudy outside. But we have a fire going, so it's crackling and it's warm. The Christmas tree, we have the lights on, and it's just kind of a nice, cozy day. The kids went to bed pretty late last night, so there was a lot of grumpiness this morning. So we're just kind of trying to everybody take it slow and easy to, I don't know, hopefully not have things be too cranky today. Um, this afternoon, I have an interview to do. So my husband and I do interviews for prospective students for the university that we both attended. And this year they are all virtual, which opens it up to doing interviews for local prospective students as well as those that don't live near us. Last year I did several virtual interviews for international students. I think this is my fourth or fifth interview of the season so far. There are more this year since they aren't hosting any in-person events, and so everything is done virtually. But yeah, it's kind of fun. The interviews are fairly casual, and yeah, it's a fun way to kind of give back to our university and stay connected. But yeah, so, oh, and I wanted to show you my Christmassy high desert socks that are now blocked and dried. I just love how the color turned out together. The dark brown is Malabrigo, and then this rusty brown that I love so much is a one of a kind, dyed by Heather of Earl Grey Fiber Co. in her Darjeeling sock base. This green is, I think, the Timeless sock base by the Kinetic Knitter. And then this cream with some speckling that's not super obvious once it's marled up is by Adria of Onyx Fiber Arts, and in her Coffee Grounds colorway. But yeah, I just love how it knit up. I ended up using 4 colors, and the toe I did a little different from the cuff and the heel by using that cream color to marl in. But yeah, I haven't worn them yet. They are just dried, and I look forward to wearing them with like black leggings tucked in, which is my favorite way to wear these higher socks. Yeah, I knit my leg pretty long because I like having warm, toasty socks. But anyway, I have now since started a pair for my husband. and I really like how those are turning out. I may have inserted the footage before this video or after, I'm not sure yet, so you'll either have seen it already or you're about to see it. But I'm really excited for his pair. He hasn't seen me working on them quite yet, I think. Although even if he did, I'm not sure if he would necessarily know they're for him or not. He doesn't usually ask me too much about my knitting. He knows I'm always making something. But yeah, I'm really excited to get those done, hopefully in the next week or two, and put those under the Christmas tree. I hope you are doing well, and I will check back in with you later. So by now you might know that I really enjoy knitting the High Desert Socks pattern by Lindsay of Lost and Fond. This might be my 9th rendition of this pattern. But yeah, these ones are going to be for my husband. I am using the remaining of that rusty brown color from my last pair of Christmassy High Desert socks I made myself. And I am using this beautiful tonal navy called Klamath Falls by Knit Picks. Oh, sorry, this rusty one is by Heather of Earl Grey Fiber Co. It's in her Darjeeling sock base. It was a one-of-a-kind colorway that was on sale. This is by Traveling Yarn, or Less Traveled Yarn by Sarah. The colorway is called Whistler. I also bought this one on sale. I think it was one of her like mystery bundles maybe a year ago. It has a beautiful kind of grayish blue with some neutral brownish colors in there and a cream. So they are knitting up really quickly and so fun. I love a good marled sock. The cuff is done. This sock has the striping section done, so it'll just be holding this main color double for the rest of the leg. And this one I'm almost done with the striping section. I put on the Progress Keepers made by my friend Maria of Woolen Forest. Her Etsy shop is Forest Charm. I just love it. This coppery one has mountains on it and pine trees, and I forget what kind of gemstone that is. I don't know, I can't remember if it's Amazonite. And then this one has a snowflake. I just love them so much, and they go so well with these wintry themed socks. Hello, it is Monday. It is a very cloudy Monday. It was one of those Mondays, or not necessarily Mondays, but one of those days where the sun rises and the sun doesn't really come out. It just gets a little brighter. And that was probably not even until 8 o'clock this morning. So the nights have been pretty long. It gets dark by 4:30, maybe even before that. And then the sun doesn't come up until close to 8. And then if it's cloudy, it doesn't really come up at all. But yeah, it is a good Monday. We've had relatively quiet start. Oh, I wanted to tell you about some games we played over the weekend. I would have inserted a little bit of footage from last night. We played the game Bananagrams. If you like the game Scrabble, you might like the game Bananagrams. So basically everybody has their own set of pieces, and then you can keep rearranging the words as you need to, and the game isn't over until the pile of tiles are gone. And then every time you run out of tiles to play on your own pieces, then you say peel, and then everybody has to take one tile. I love it. I love word games in general. I'm not the best at strategy logic games, but I really enjoy playing word games, and that's one of my favorites. So Bananagrams, highly recommend. And then today, while our older one was online for distance learning, the younger one was working on word finds. So she's just starting to read a little bit, and she definitely knows all her letters. And so word find is kind of fun because she can try to sound out the word. I can help her with it. It kind of helps with spelling and then letter recognition, and she has fun doing it. So that's kind of something. So that is something we've worked on this morning. She also really enjoys like dot to dots if it's number or letters. Those are fun as well. Oh, and then we also played last night. Okay, back up. I have some friends that have been in my life basically my entire life. And so our parents were friends, and then our grandparents actually know each other. And our parents, then when they had kids, then all of us kids, like our generation, are really good friends. And so they're basically like my extended family of many, many brothers and sisters. And we're just part of each other's lives all the time, to the point where like we know what we're eating for our meals day to day. So these are some very special people in my life. And one of my brothers set up a way for us to play games all together virtually. And since a lot of us now have our own children as well, we're all playing these games together. So we set it up where we could play Pictionary and Telestrations, and it is so much fun because our children are all pretty young. The oldest one I think is our second grader in the bunch of this next generation. But they can all, draw on a board or a pad or a screen. And so, yeah, it's really fun. And it just makes me feel a little more connected during this time when we are all so isolated and we can't really see each other. We live across 3 different time zones, and all the trips or events that we were going to be getting together for this year were all canceled or rescheduled. And so, yeah, we were just all really missing each other, and having this opportunity to connect and have fun and just kind of be together in a different way is so special right now. I really hope that you're able to find that connection somewhere with someone in whatever way that works for you safely. We are all looking forward to a big celebration when it is safe to do so. We are all looking forward to hugs and sharing food and all talking over each other and the kids running around, and it's going to be so nice. So we're hopeful, we're all staying safe, and we really, really look forward to the next time we are all able to gather. Tuesday. The sun finally came out and it is the afternoon. We had another one of those slow sunrises where the sun didn't really come up, and then in the afternoon it popped out and it is so beautiful. It's probably in like the mid to high 30s today. We still have no snow. We had more snow in October than we do now in December. So we shall see if we end up with a white Christmas or not. But currently in the 10-day forecast, there is no snow predicted. We've had a good day here. The little one was working on some reading and more word finds, and she wanted to learn about stingrays today, so we were looking up some information about stingrays, so that was fun. And the second grader has been busy online doing distance learning. I had finished some socks last night, as you might have seen. I was soaking them, and I'm so excited about those socks. And I'm currently wearing another pair of socks that I had recently finished, the kindling socks. I had shared a photo of me wearing the socks up on my Instagram account if you would like to check out the picture there. But yeah, so lots and lots of socks. Yes, I have several shawls in progress that I could be working on, but I don't know. I feel like just having something smaller that I don't have to think too hard on, and it's fun, enjoyable, and as soon as it's done, they're wearable. I mean, shawls are wearable too. As soon as they're done, I wear a shawl every day. The kids know that mommy always wears a shawl, and then my whole family enjoys wearing socks that I knit as well, so that's really enjoyable to knit for them. But I wanted to share with you my latest cast on. I don't know if you remember the lights that would clap. I think they were called clapper lights, like clap on, clap off was the advertisement for it. I'll spare you the jingle, but I just keep thinking in my head, cast off, cast on, like to that jingle. Anyway, so these socks I am knitting up using this main color, which is Mom's Vanilla Coffee, I think, by Adria of Onyx Fiber Arts and at Micro Stripes. I've already made one pair of socks using this yarn, and they were kind of shorter, like a little shorter than like crew socks, so I had plenty of left over to make another pair of socks. So I'm really excited about that. And then my contrast color, I'm using this beautiful like vibrant yellow green, and it's called Green Leaf, and it's by my friend Shilpa of Serendipitous Wool, and it's a mini skein, and I love it. So here are the start of my totally rad ribbed socks by Summer, and her patterns are really cool because she includes like several pattern options within one pattern. This one I think has 2 options, but you can kind of mix and match like your cuff and your leg and the striping and the heel. So I chose the tabbed cuff option. I'm doing it a little differently. She has you fold it down like afterwards, but I did it like as I went. So like I knit it and then I knit it together. And what else I did different was I decided to do a contrast color on the inside for like a pop of color. And then as long as my main color part on the outside was slightly shorter in rounds than the inside, when I fold it, part of the inside pops up on the top. And I love that so much. It's just a little bit of fun. So I am going to be knitting them in tandem so that I finish them close to the same time. So this is the first one, and the second one I've started the inside color so far. But I'm so excited about these. I have been wanting to knit these socks ever since they came out, or maybe when I saw them in testing. I just couldn't decide what color combination that I wanted to do. And there were just so many ideas. I wanted to do like a hot pink and orange, or like and yellow as the contrast. And then I had to decide if I want variegated or speckled, or like which one. So many ideas. I'm sure this will not be my last pair. And especially if I make them short, then I can always bust out a few more. But anyway, super excited about that. I also had more caffeine than I might usually have. I mean, granted, it was at like 5:30 in the morning, but maybe I accidentally brewed an extra strong cup of jasmine green tea. It was so delicious, but yeah, maybe a little bit too wired. I don't do well on a lot of caffeine. I tend to get like really jittery, and then I don't sleep well. So maybe an afternoon walk is needed just to kind of like wear off some of that energy, and maybe drink a lot of water. But anyway, I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I will check back in tomorrow. Bye-bye. It's almost lunchtime and it's been a productive morning. I cleaned out our microwave. I feel like the microwave never gets cleaned out often enough. We usually cover food in there that might splatter to prevent some extra mess in there, but I just feel like with it being kind of like warm and wet in the microwave, that it just kind of begs for stuff to grow there that you don't want to grow in there. So what I often will do, you can like put a bowl of vinegar inside and heat that up, and it'll kind of steam the inside of the microwave so that you can just kind of wipe off anything that's crusty or growing. I have a brush that I like to use to get into the corners. But yeah, not very exciting, but something that just has to be done. And yeah, so I cleaned the microwave out this morning, and I got an exciting package in the mail. I had ordered some tea from the company Tea Drops. It was recommended by Mars of Hey Brownberry. And yeah, I'm really excited to try that out. I bought a sampler pack that's going under the tree, so that won't be tried yet, but I did order some other ones, that turmeric ones, and so I'm excited to try those out. So this last year I'd spent a bunch of time trying to find the right planner that I wanted to use. And then of course, you know, when 2020 rolled around, all plans went awry, and so there are a lot of blank pages in that planner that I was excited to find. So I think what I'm going to do for this next year is just get a blank dot journal, and I'm not doing like the full-on bullet journaling with all of the doodling and pages that are all like set up really nicely, because I feel like that kind of stresses me out to feel like I have to get all those pages done like just right. And so what I look for in a planner is having that monthly spread so that I can write out what's going on for the month, and then just kind of take it at a glance, like, okay, this is what's going on Friday or Thursday, whatever it is. And then I like to have weekly parts to like write out all the to-dos and things like that. But because some days may be busier than others, or I just might not write anything down, I don't want to waste pages on days that are just blank. So I think I'll still do the monthly thing, and then for the weeks or daily stuff, I'll just kind of like have a running like list going. So I won't necessarily break up each page into like 2 or 3 days, because I just don't want to waste space for that. Does that make any sense? And most of my things nowadays are just to-dos. Like we don't have a lot of stuff scheduled. And so I feel like the monthly calendar part will be perfect just to write in those very minimal things that are here and there, and then go from there. My husband and I, we do share Google calendars just to like keep track of what's going on for who, when, whatever. But again, like I said, there's not a ton going on these days. So we still rely on that for most stuff, but just for like my everyday to-dos or things that don't need to go on a Google Calendar, I still like to have things written down. And I'm very much a pencil paper person. I remember things better that way. I process things better that way. So yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to do for this upcoming year. I also found it really difficult to find things in like an academic year, but that would go into the next academic year, because oftentimes you're planning starting at an academic year into the next summer, like if you have summer vacations or conferences or whatever that's going on. So then I found it really difficult to find the right timeline, and I know some people build their own, but I didn't really want all those pieces. Anyway, so I'm just going back to a plain old notebook, except a dot one, because I do like to be able to write in straight lines, but still have the option of creating like grids and things like that, that a lot of people who do bullet journaling know the versatility of a dot notebook. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I hope things are going well for you. I don't know if I'll be able to hop back on later or not to do any chit chat, but yeah, I hope things are going well. It is a beautiful sunny day here. Yesterday we actually hit, I think, 52 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 30 degrees warmer than it should be right now. We have no snow, and there's no snow in the upcoming forecast. So I don't know, we might end up with a brown Christmas. I was really hoping for a white Christmas, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, I hope you're doing well, that you're staying safe, and that you're finding some joy in your everyday life. And I will check back in with you later. It might be tomorrow. Bye. So I made the tea drop turmeric tea, and it's really good. It dissolves super fast. I basically dropped it in, and my mug was already a little wet from earlier tea, and it was already dissolving before I added in new hot water. And it's really good. It's not like gritty or anything. I was kind of unsure how the dissolving would be, and I read some reviews that there was some sediment that people were concerned about, but I feel like sediment is kind of going to be there, and so it was expected. And I feel like even in loose leaf teas, depending on how fine your mesh strainer thing is, you end up with a little sediment too, so it's like not unusual. But yeah, I really like it, so I'm excited about that. And the thing I forgot to mention earlier was we are really excited because later today, in our area, Santa Claus is going to be riding on a fire truck through our neighborhood. And there are various ones going on kind of throughout our area. And what Santa Claus is going to be doing is collecting new toys for a toy drive and also food for the food shelf. So that'll be really fun. The website says that just make sure you're socially distanced while you wait for Santa to arrive and have your donations ready in a bag. I'm guessing you can just leave your bag at the end of the driveway and kind of wave at Santa Claus riding by. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. That'll be really fun. Our children know that Santa Claus is a make-believe magical thing, and that toys and gifts and all those things come from family and friends, but it doesn't mean they don't enjoy Santa Claus any less. I mean, they still love the stories and love the magic about it. So we're very excited about that. I think that's all that I wanted to pop back in to say. I'll talk to you later. Bye. If you are looking for something fun and semi-homemade, get crescent roll dough, and then it usually has 8 triangles, but I just kept 2 of the triangles together, and then so it would be a long rectangle. And then I put in some goat cheese and a spoonful of fig butter, and then I folded it over. So I put everything on one side, and then I folded it over, and then I used a fork and kind of pressed around the edges to seal it. And then I just used my fingers to kind of pinch that edge where the triangles were supposed to come apart, closed. And then I bake per instructions for the crescent rolls until they are golden brown, and it is so good.